Hey, this is Will from Department of Play, and I'm joined by Max from AppMagic. And this is the first in a series of, I guess you could call them interviews or spotlights on tools. Very often, our clients come to us and they ask us, "Hey, how does this thing work?" or "What's this tool? What does it do?" And I often give demos. And I thought it'd be really good to go through some of these tools that we use with the creators and get a sense of them giving us a demo and kind of what they do and why they're better or different than other services. So, Max, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions, and this should be a little bit of a conversation. It's pretty casual, informal. It's the first time us doing this. Things are going to go wrong for sure. But could you give me a little bit about background of you and why you founded AppMagic?
Sure. So I've been working in game development since 2010, and we actually could never afford paying like for App Annie because it's kind of cost a fortune for us. And after a while, I started thinking on can I come up with something maybe simpler, but that would actually allow me to accomplish our goals in terms of market analysis. And it started from like a simple Excel file, and then actually I figured out that it's much more complicated than I initially thought, and maybe like 100 times more complicated. And
Right.
now there is a team of 15 people working on the tool of kind. But our idea was to come up with a tool that will allow like a broad community of game developers that cannot afford paying for premium services of the kind to solve their like the like regular the goals to achieve their goals in terms of market analysis. For example, it was a real pain in the neck for me to use a free version of Appany and then compare apps and try to figure out market shares. So that's what we started from.
Right. Right. Makes sense. Awesome. Okay. So, what exactly is your service? What does it do? Like we've been using it here at Department of Play, so it might be really helpful for people to get a sense of at the basic level what does AppMagic
Sure,
do?
sure. Like the regular things that all the services and AppMagic do is we allow you to see revenue and downloads for any mobile app within the main two mobile app stores, Google Play and then Apple App Store. And also, it has a variety of additional functions that are designed to help you do like the most common types of research you need to do first when you are thinking on an idea for your future app or just trying to figure out what new features, new monetization and mechanics, new like other product approaches you need to add into your product. So you need to constantly follow on the newest product trends and try to figure out what particular ideas, what particular features help new products to succeed within the market niche of your interest. And that's actually another thing to think on how can I address the market niche of my interest. uh, App stores provide you with just app like categories, but these categories is too broad. So say, what is arcade? It's for shooters, runners. I don't know, like racing games. It's for a lot of games. So we started working on our own typology of genres, subgenres, and also then we complemented with also typology of settings and even art styles. So using that, you can easily address, say, I'm working on a survival game, so I want to like discover all the notable survival games and try to figure out like what features they have, who's going down, who's growing, and what like innovative features are there in the successful products.
Got it. Okay, cool. So rather than like a strict BI tool like App Annie or Sensor Tower, which give you lots of data, this is really sort of closer maybe to something like Game Refinery, where it's about exploring competitors and understanding features and what bits of the game make it successful. Is that right?
Yeah, but the thing. mm, to figure out what exactly makes a game successful, you need to go really into details and then try to play this game and like feel like what are the main features that make this game fun and like attractive, addictive. But we allow you to easily discover something notable, and maybe compare it in terms of metrics. But if you want to really figure out what exactly helps this game to be successful, you definitely need to play this game for a lot of time, try to pay, and try to figure out what exactly retains users in this game and makes them pay.
Got it. Right. Makes sense. Hey, so Max, maybe there would be a good time for us to get a little bit of a demo. Like you could give us sort of a 10-minute tour of what the tool does and get a sense of
Sure, I can go. I can talk about it for hours. So just let me know when it's enough.
it. Okay.
So let me share my screen. All the tools of the guide start with top charts. So the top charts you can see like in the stores themselves or any other particular tool.
Yeah.
And here you see their rankings. By default, actually, it's worldwide cross-platform because like for the first view, you want to see the global picture. Like, is this game is successful? So to do that, you better start from global picture, like worldwide cross-platform. But in most cases, you are not interested in the global market. You are interested to go deeper into the market niche of your interest. So what we like every game here, like every notable app is manually classified. So you see the Gardenscapes is match tree, puzzle is like a broader tag, and puzzle builder, it means that this puzzle also have a building component. Also, it uses real life setting, and it's 3D game. It is with normal detalization, and it has the light graphics, cartoonish graphics.
Got it. So this
So
is like you're manually, you have the team are actually putting this detail in.
right.
And how much of it of the App Store do you cover with this? Because obviously there's thousands and thousands.
As for now, we have about 50,000 apps tagged, manually classified. Actually, it's a large number because like those games that you would call notable in terms of like performance, they usually are like top 10,000 maybe.
Right.
But since these games are constantly rotating and like every day we see new games in the top charts, so every day we just like figure out what new games are here and what games we need to tag, and just like tag about 100 games every day.
Got it. Right. And so if we clicked on the puzzle builder, that I guess will take us off to. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead in your demo, but it would take
Right.
us off somewhere.
Right, exactly. So if you click on a tag, you're gonna get to another top, like the same top charts, but with a tag puzzle builder selected here. So you can actually select some other tags. For example, you want to see only puzzle builders with real life setting or with stylized graphics. But nevertheless, another like core feature that we were working from the very start was ability to select any number of apps up to 100 actually, and then move it all to a new context, what we call app comparison dashboard. So that is a tool that allows you to easily like to put them all in a single dashboard. Then if you want to get rid of this noise, you just switch to months perspective. So you see their monthly revenue, for example, because I chose revenue.
Right. Okay.
But you can actually another ability of our tool is to select several metrics simultaneously. But you don't want to do that when you have a lot of apps selected because your graph going to look like a complete mess. Nevertheless, you are able to choose how many lines you want to see on the graph, or you can download a CSV and do some custom analysis in Excel or Google spreadsheets.
Right.
But another tool, like the features that I find really like convenient, is that you see the total numbers for a selected period of time right in the table below the graph, so you can easily like identify some interesting numbers and like sort maybe these games according to revenue of your metric of interest. For example, this metrics is, I believe, also innovative. I haven't seen a similar metric at any other tool. So what we do, we just find a ratio of your lifetime revenue to your lifetime downloads. This metrics in real life is pretty close to LTV. So I can say that for this particular game, Little Garden, their actual LTV may be like 4.6 or $4.7, because when it comes to long periods of time, the average lifetime of a user is much shorter. So you can be sure that like most of the users that ever played in this game already churned and they left like you know what's the revenue per user.
Hmm.
But actually, it's not a good idea to consider this metric for global, like worldwide, because LTV is definitely like differs in a huge way when it comes to countries. So what I do, I can just
Got
click
it.
on
So
it.
sorry,
Yeah.
Max, what you're suggesting there is that that revenue download number is a worldwide number, so it's mixed, and that means that perhaps if it's got a different kind of like geographical makeup, that you'll see that some will be higher or lower, and you're suggesting that actually it's better to move that into country by country.
Yeah, sure. Because in America, you can have say $20 LTV, and in India $1. So
Yeah.
you just cannot consider it globally. So if I just click on any app's name, I just go to get to another type of dashboard.
Hmm.
It has less options, but it has handy stacked error graphs. So here I can sort it, and I see that yes, in the United States their LTV is about, I believe the actual LTV is about $13, which is
Hmm.
actually a lot. So we can like figure out that they're able to pay for an install for CPI maybe about $10,
Right.
and you understand like the competition on this market in terms of traffic. So you to compete with this game, you either need to be able to pay like competitive price for an install.
Hmm.
Mm, like yeah, I believe that's the main point.
Right.
Or you need to maybe to switch to another target audience, and that will allow you to go for cheaper CPI and with the same positive ROI.
Hmm. Hmm. Got it. Makes sense. Awesome. Okay. So this is the central idea of the platform. Then is all about this comparison and being able to compare competitors in the market, which is what we frequently do with our product reviews from our clients. We actually use this tool occasionally in Department of Play to sort of identify competitors or talk about ECPIs. One, or sorry, I should say LTV. One
Mhm.
question that is probably going to be at the top of everyone's mind is how accurate is your data and how do you derive it?
Yeah, actually, we've recently added a special markers here to highlight that some numbers can be not that accurate. So if you see
Right.
the red marker, you
Yeah.
can like move your mouse cursor over it, and you see that this number is not accurate. And black marker says that is kind of arguable, maybe not that accurate. So if you click on it, and you get a special article which explains the accuracy. So here in this graph, you see the logarithmic scale,
Hmm.
and at the top of the graph, you see like distribution for downloads, like the discrepancy distribution, and in the bottom part, you see the same graph for revenue. So you see
Hmm.
that discrepancy goes higher when it comes to the topmost apps, like number one and number two, because I mean, it's hard to predict, because if you are number one, you can have one day $1 million revenue, another day $10 million revenue. You're still number one.
Mm.
So the dispersion is very high here. And also when it comes to like bottom performance to the tail of the distribution, the discrepancy may be even higher.
Hmm.
And sometimes for apps that have, say, I don't know, 1,000 downloads a month, the discrepancy may be like 10, like it may be the error may be 10 times more than the value itself. So I
Right.
really like tell the users not to actually pay serious attention to low numbers. So, but
Mm.
to make this task easier, we just came out with these marks.
Got it. Okay. Got it. That makes sense. But I think it said on that blog there that generally the majority of your data is within 10%. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe for those apps that I call kind of notable, that those that earn like starting from I don't know $30,000 a month up to like tens, dozens of millions, somehow like up to the topmost ones, the
Yeah.
discrepancies like expected discrepancies less than 10%. In some
Got it.
cases, it can be higher, but I believe we won't go into details here, but there is some explanations why it can be higher in some cases. Because, for example, we do not process all the countries in the world. We process 47 biggest economies in terms of GDP. I believe maybe in June or July will add another 13 countries.
Okay, cool. But I guess you're not going to be able to like process data for like Vatican City or Malta, right?
Definitely. So there are some games that are highly popular in some specific market, like regions. For example, if you take backgammon, it's highly popular in Middle East, and we do not process many countries of this region.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. And so, how are you deriving the data? Where does this raw data come from? Like, how are you getting to these numbers?
So every like developer of a tool of the kind starts from getting top charts from platforms. So it's like natural data, natural ranking, and then also every our customer has an option to share their exact numbers of their revenue downloads with us. Here's an article, like how do you do that? It's a really like simple procedure. So you just like, and then we build a kind of a model that tries to fit the training data with the best possible way with a curve to describe the distribution. And like all these curves are different for all the countries, all the platforms, and they change every day. And it's really a difficult task to do that. Here's another um, um, blog post about it. Let me see. Shows like how to use market research. So that's what I'm talking about. This every dot is like revenue of each at any particular game at any particular day. So what we do, we try to build this curve to describe the cloud of training data in the best way.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Right. So you have some partner clients that share their data with you. Then that gives you a position in the charts, and then from that you can derive an estimate of any game based on their fluctuation, right?
Right, exactly that way.
Awesome. Okay, cool. And so that probably brings us on to the next question, which is how much AppMagic costs. Now, definitely Sensor Tower and App Annie are prohibitively expensive for smaller startups or scale ups.
Yeah.
What does your, I guess you can't go into sort of the specific details of what the costing is for all of your clients because that's going to vary. But what's the sort of price range that it would cost to get access to this tool?
So the price depends on how many people are going to work with the service and about the features you're interested in, because you can come up with a tailored plan. And but I could say roughly plans start from about $3,000 a year, and then it depends on the options.
Got it. Right.
And also it can be much less if you have really successful apps and you are ready to share the data. Some of our largest customers have access to our topmost plans for free because they have a lot of data.
Right. Okay. Got it. Makes sense. Okay. Cool. So then, as a kind of summary of what the platform does, it's a BI tool, business intelligence tool, in the sense that it shows you data on games. It shows you how they're performing in terms of revenue, and that's broken down by countries. You said it was 37 countries that you cover currently.
Yeah, 47.
47. Okay. And the thing that kind of differentiates you is the ability to sort of compare apps by the sort of non-public information, which is around their genre, how they're stylized, etc., and some of their features, which lets you sort of compare games, right?
Yeah, also like the magic in the name of the service reflects the idea, like our focus on developing tools that allow you to do, like, to accomplish your research really literally in seconds. So that's what the magic. So since I've been working in game development for 10 years, I can understand like the daily routine, the daily analysis you may need as a product guy. So we try to come up with tools that allow you to do your daily research tasks for literally seconds. So that's for that reason we have a set of tools that allow you, for example, to discover all notable games of the kind that have been growing fastest recently, or to discover soft launches, because it's actually not that easy to do manually. It's not that easy to figure out what is a soft launch, what is not, because if a game is published in just 2 or 3 countries, it doesn't say it's a soft launch. It may be like a local app.
Right. Got it. Awesome. Okay, cool. So in terms of the things that we've discussed, is there anything major that we've missed, Max, that might be good for viewers of this that are evaluating this?
Um, the only thing that comes to my mind is that I really want to warn rookie developers and publishers, because I constantly face a lot of like talented people who are obsessed with an idea of a games they've been dreaming of like for many years, but they do not do any proper market research, and they invest like years of their lives and lives of their teammates into projects that are doomed in terms of commercial success from the very start. So when you come up with an idea, I don't know, for say CCG, cartable collectible game, just have a look how many successful Western oriented CCG games are there, except for Hearthstone, which is developed by Blizzard, a huge company with huge audience.
Yeah.
So just have a look how many, if there is actually market, because some people think that if there's little like small competition within the market niche, so I can succeed. Usually it's vice versa. So if there is no market, you cannot succeed, because there's no market. There are no people who are interested in product of the kind.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. Makes sense. Max, where can people get in contact with you? How did they get to? I
Sure,
imagine
sure,
it's a
sure.
weird URL, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I can try people with my email or my contacts in messengers. I really appreciate having feedback, because most of people are super busy and they just don't have any time to provide me with the feedback. So I really appreciate it.
Right.
And like any ideas, if you think if you use a tool and feel you are lacking kind of some functionality, I would appreciate hearing about that.
Awesome. Okay. And so I think before you were like offering some, I might be dropping you in it here, like you were offering some demos. Is that still something that you're doing, like a 14-day demo or something?
Yeah, like sometimes we provide demos, those demos all say participants of a conference,
All right.
or they definitely provide with demos all the representatives of some particular companies. But I cannot do that like for everyone, because like it, in another way, one could just request demos every second week and then live like without like paying anything for a
Right.
service. But nevertheless, I want to say that we tried to design our service to be really convenient and helpful for those who do not pay. And I'm personally sure that this tool is much more convenient for non-payers than say Apple or Sensor Tower, because we like that's what we started from. We never were
Right.
able to pay for App Annie.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. So Max, if people want to reach out to you, they go to appmagic.rocks.
Right, or just email me to max@appmagic.rocks.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Right, we're gonna probably stop the recording here. Thank you so much, Max, for
Thank you so much for having me.
yeah. I hope it's useful for people. You know, it's a tool which is affordable and the, the accuracy seems good. So I think it's definitely helpful. And the demographic that you're looking at, you know, developers which are not able to stump up the tens of thousands that an App Annie or a sensor tower is going to cost. I think it's potentially really helpful for a lot of those studios.
Hope so.
Awesome. Thanks, Max.
Okay, thanks so much, Will.